Call this meeting to order at 7:04. If everyone could please rise to salute our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a regular meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, January 21st, 2014. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dunleavy.
Here.
Council members Yazdi.
Here.
Costa.
Here.
D'Amato.
Here.
Della Ripa.
Here.
Hudson. Here. Sondemire.
Here. Thank you also with us, and thank you, Jane, for bearing the weather. And I did give our attorney a pass due to the weather. This is an official meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale on January 4th, 2014. The date, time, place of this official meeting was faxed and mailed to all local news media, posted here at Borough Hall. I need a motion for early public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to an agenda item, please come up, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, motion to close early. So moved. There is one non-agenda item, which I should have stated before. We have to approve a septic install at Glenwild Lake. There are obviously still DEP requirements, Board of Health requirements per DEP requirement. Because it's a treatment works approval, which we've done numerous in the past few years, TWA application, we need to give it the governing body's blessing. So that will be under new business a little later this evening. Before we do anything else, what I'd like to do, being that we have some residents who are willing to serve and residents who have come out in the stormy night, and I appreciate that very much. That is Rory Lovelace, who's going to be serving on our Board of Health, and Mr. Craig Tuck, who's going to be serving on our Library Board. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve and appoint Rory Lovelace to our Board of Health and Craig Tuck to our Library Board. Who's willing to make that motion? Second. Okay. Any further discussion? Other than honestly, again, both of you, thanks for coming out tonight. I'll swear you in, and thank you most warmly for serving. Each department will notify you of agendas and meetings and the like. So we have all your information, and so you'll be hearing from them before the week's out with future meeting schedules, etc. So, I'm sorry, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. So I'd ask if you both would please come up. Now, it will be I state your name, and then when I get to the point of duties of the office up, just state your library board. So if you both would please raise your right hand and simply repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Rory Lovelace,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and the governments established in the United States
and the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of office of
and justly perform all the duties of office of
Library
Library Board of Health,
Thank you, according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
Again, I thank you both very, very much. Let me have you sign the affidavit before you go, and we'll be official. Greg, could you sign right there? John, you want another one?
Did you sit right here?
Yes, please. John, chair, that's all. Try to rush right through each other.
No, this is good. Get a better.
Okay, yeah, probably last minute too as well.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Hey, thanks everyone.
Okay,
See you again.
thank you. Oh, and, Okay, thank you. Jane, you have any report for us?
No, it's listed on the agenda about the county clerk will be here the third Thursday of each month from 10 a.m. to 2. For anyone that needs notaries, photo ID cards for veterans. So that works out about that. Should be here on Thursday.
Right. We need to market that. Guys, you listen
They're
to
going
that.
to send a flyer out. We will put them on the website.
County Clerk's Office is doing mobile office hours for the third Thursday of every single month. They will be here in the chambers at 10 a.m. To serve our residents. Thank you, Jake. Does any council member have anything?
Yes. On January 11th, I attended the orientation for municipal officers, newly elected and re-elected. I just wanted to tell everybody it was very informative. I especially found the access to public records and local government ethics especially interesting. They did some other things on purchasing, budgeting, labor relations, that kind of thing. It was very interesting. So I just want to let everybody know that I did attend.
Those are, all of them are good. So if you guys see something you like, don't be bashful to register. Anyone else?
Yes, I was just going to say the Drug Alliance had their family bingo night this past Sunday. I believe the attendance was around 250 people. Wow, it was a good time. So it was a good event.
Non-football. Yes,
Just a quick update from the planning board. The quick check application came in front of the board and passed with flying colors. We're going to be getting a new looking quick check and the pump station with cheaper gas. At least that's what they're claiming. So,
and a larger rate of
larger rated over the top.
more taxes. So that's a good thing. Thank you very much. My mayor's report I submit to you dated January 15th. Again, there's 17 items in an effort of time. Just real quickly, budget process is underway. I have every department head's budget, and we're looking to introduce by the end of March. And the finance just rolled our system into 14, so the orders are coming in very shortly, and we can begin that process in earnest with Ray, myself, and Rich. Met with the owners of the new purchase of Capici site. Councilman Villarip and I met. Real nice young man opening a fish and chip restaurant, and we're looking forward to work with him. Looking to do a full renovation in a summer build-out. County road paving plan was put out. It's pretty much all the balance of our roads. The voids in Glenwall that weren't done last year will be done, and so we'll be 100% when they're done. Glenwell, Hamburg wasn't on in front of Borough Hall, which I think is desperately needed, so I'm lobbying to make sure they add that for this year. Bidding to Leisure project within 2 weeks, that's the stonework. Had a pre-construction meeting with the contractor on Walter T. Bergen. The weather kind of threw off the start date, so that should start once winter is kind to us. From prior litigation, we had a $100,000 affordable housing trust fund from Avalon Bay. I need to attend a seminar in Trenton in February to be able to access and utilize this trust fund. So Jane and I are working on that. My goal is 2014, this would be under the rehab portion of Mount Laurel, to offer to our residents who qualify rehab work, the roofs, furnaces, etc., out of this $100,000, which was again part of the settlement with Avalon Bay. And that would be grant money to our own residents, and I really want to get this done by the beginning of the summer. So we'll market that. There's a lot of rules involved, which I'll learn through the process. Avalon Bay will be done, final CO by February. Pilot for this year will be a minimum of $375,000, possibly more, but a minimum of $375,000. We passed our insurance inspection, safety inspection on all properties and buildings. We received a $42,000 check from Florida's construction violation, so that will be considered a revenue in 2014. Met with Children Occupational Services to do new employee physicals, drug testing, police physicals, fireman physicals, and the like. There's a substantial reduction in cost than over what we're paying now, so it's going to be good for the borough. Rafting Road, Phase 1, pre-construction meeting coming soon. We're going to authorize tonight the meeting for Phase 2 with the residents. Rose Fund meetings were advertised. You see the dates, February 6th, February 27th, the Rose Fund meeting dates. And the rest of the items you can see for yourself. Police accreditation I'll touch upon. We do have a $30,000 corridor grant from the county that I'd like to use this year. If you do an improvement along a county road, so we need to put our heads together with what we want to do. I was thinking something when the park is completed at Sloan Park to do one of those nice clock type town center thing with the county assistance. So Okay. And then Sloan Park attorney promises to be built out in the spring, filing permits very soon. That's all I do. Grateful. Okay. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? The only comment I have is you can see the Rogers Group, which is the consultant given to us by the Joint Insurance Fund to help our police go through the accreditation process, sent a congratulating letter to our department. Our department is really there. You know, the exit interview from the accreditors was very successful, which I attended 2 Sundays ago. Though there are some housekeeping items and a final interview process in February. So we hope that sometime in March, when the head of the Chiefs Association comes to Bloomingdale to present a plaque and certification, I want to make a very large fanfare out of this because our police department worked incredibly hard, all of them, particularly the chief and Captain Muller, on this accreditation. We'll be one of less than 70 towns in the state, one of 3 in the county, accredited, saving the borough substantial money on our insurance as well. So when that time comes, we're thinking about a reception off-site, followed by our meeting to do a formal presentation at that time. Any other comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Pending business, we have one item, authorization to dispose of junk car, which is formerly the construction official's vehicle. There's rules in place on getting rid of any municipally owned property. We need authorization to do so. The car had no value, was taken out of commission, but then used by our fire department in drills and drills, life-type drills and whatnot. It has no value, it's a junk car. I need a motion to approve turning this over to salvage. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? I'm sorry? Excuse me?
You get any money for that, Mr. Happening?
I believe, I don't hold me to it, less than $100 probably, Mr. Happening. I think it's more value. Mark Lyon's taking care of it, so I'll confirm if we are. Pennies if we are, just to get rid of it. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business. I need a motion to adopt resolution 2014 1.79. Payment of the bills. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Rich and Red.
Council members Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Della Ripa.
Yes, but I must abstain from 14-00087. I can get that to you.
Hudson.
Yes, with the exception of PO 14-00090 for $543.16.
Sondermeyer.
I'm going to abstain because I have not had a chance to even look at the bills.
Yes.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to point out on the bills is you'll see a reimbursement to me for $221. Borough had signed up for a year-long prescription for the Herald News. I put it on my credit card. That's why I'm getting reimbursed. The reason being, Jane had found out through her clerk's contacts that every time we advertise something, a meeting, an ordinance, same for planning board, any of our board, they advertise something, we then after that have to pay $25 each affidavit for any advertisement to get an official copy. What Jane had learned is that we can cut out the actual ad in the newspaper and Jane can post that, and that is count. So savings, I don't want to put a dollar amount on it, but it's going to be substantial. Yeah, more than a $221 cost of the newspaper.
And I asked the mayor if he would mind having it go to his home, because where I live, and I'll tell you why, where I live, it would be double the price to carry more money to. And why we didn't want to just rely on the library, because I checked with my association. Sometimes people, they drop by the door and they just pick it up and crying out, so we're guaranteed they can have it. So I think in the long run, it would be a savings.
You imagine every advertisement we do times 25 will now go away.
And sometimes bond ordinances, we do too.
Bond ordinances, 2 ads, 2 officials. So,
That was a nice,
okay.
I have to thank Antoinette for that too.
Okay, excellent.
Down all the way.
Excellent. Again, I don't want to put a number on it. If I have to, I'm sure it's well over $1,000 savings, so I'm not sure yet. Okay. B, we've taken care of. Thank you, Craig. Item C, I need a motion for Resolution 214 1.80, setting a minimum and maximum for a low SAP program. Let me get a motion first, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? LoSAP, as you know, is in essence, a length of service awards program for volunteer fire department. It's a small pension for volunteer fire departments. And the state sets the minimum and maximum. Previously, the minimum was $100, maximum $11.50 per year in a contribution. That is set by the membership, the years of service, years of how many calls in a year, and all the criteria the department provide financing. The state Division of Local Finance changed it. The minimum still remains 100, but the new maximum is $1,589, $1,589. So we're doing this by resolution. We may have to introduce by ordinance. I'm checking to see. I think we have an ordinance on the books with these minimums. So I want to memorialize it with a resolution. And we might come back at our next meeting, introduce by title, and then the ordinance these same figures. Okay? I think there is an ordinance, but we're still going to memorialize it tonight by resolution. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Tomato.
Abstain.
Della Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Okay, just a heads up, the county open space applications and the community block development grant deadline March 14th. So on our next agenda, I will look for authorization or recommendations on projects. County open space is the one where we get our recreation funding, Bolsonaro restrooms, the leisure grandstands, the last two we received. So again, please, want some ideas. Mike, maybe bring it to rec and see if they have any suggestions. I'm thinking, is it time to go for a track at the Merton School? I'm thinking, hopefully we bid the leisure prior to the deadline. And we need more funding for the leisure, maybe go back to the second round there. The Community Block Development Grant, this is a grant based on low-income areas. And our map analysis primarily targets this money along Main Street and some of the side streets off Main Street. Last year we applied but were unsuccessful for Ryerson Road, Ryerson Ave, to get resurfacing, curbing, and primarily sewer, water. We went for the whole thing. We went for like $100,000. Their pot of money is very limited. So I'd like to resubmit that this year. And make a caveat to the county that, hey, we'll take any award you give us. The whole project is $350,000, and we only get $80,000, which is like the average award you see out of this. Then we can decide where we want to put it. Do we want to just do laterals? Do we want to do curbs? And because the plans are done, engineering is completed on it, we just resubmit that application. It's going to be my recommendation. If you have something else, let me know, but I would ask you to support that resubmission. Okay, that's just information. Item E, I need a motion for Resolution 214 1.81. This is a resolution terminating our water supply agreement with the Passaic Valley Water Commission. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? The only discussion, I'm sorry?
Savings on that?
The only discussion I have is about savings, yes. In 2015, when we would begin our new water service for the borough of Butler, the savings in 2015 will be 25% on our wholesale cost, which is roughly $180,000 a year. Will be our cost for wholesale water purchasing. Now the goal is obviously to give that back to the residents in the form of some sort of relief on their water bill. Invest in infrastructure, all things we want to achieve here to ultimately stabilize our utility rates. 25% reduction in rate plus $60,000 annual for ever more savings in electric, because we will eliminate our pumping stations where the water is currently needed in our county. We also will be upgrading all our interconnects in Sloan Park. It's always part of the Sloan Park flood project. The interconnects will be removed from the park, put on the Butler side, eliminating the need for a vehicular bridge. That's why we go to pedestrian bridge. And most importantly is we have a lot of pressure issues in town. Parts of town with low pressure, parts of town with extremely high pressure. That will all be equalized as a result of this project. By contract, we need to give 1 year's notice. That's what we're doing it tonight. And the start date would be March 2015 Republic. Okay, so any further discussion?
Just a question, on the valves that are going to be moved to the other side, the flooding project has no water. They have to tie together, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Right?
Will all be part of that same project. The engineers designed the whole thing, and when we bid it, we will bid the wall and an alternate on that part. We'll do two separate contractors, but it will all be part of the same project.
How does that help? How does that help some of the residents in higher elevations when you're taking away pump stations? How does that help?
According to the engineer. However, we now will receive water from Butler, just helps our pressure situation. I mean, I'm not an engineer. For a more technical question, I can email Paul, copy you on it and get your detail, but
I would like to know that, because that doesn't, to me, that doesn't really...
But that's the answer I've been given by professionals, and I rely on my professionals.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And when we flipped over to Butler, when we did the water tank, we didn't have any complaints. In years past, we had issues with the way they upgraded their system.
Right.
When we took over, they won't be any difference.
The Suburban Trends called me today, and I believe already our front page article is about this topic, which according to Rich, is already out. And that was a question, what do you do some of the residents who remember the old days when there was water issues? And I said, well, one, is the investment Butler's made in their system makes it state-of-the-art, as any. And two, we've used the water for 2 to 3 months on the painting of the tower, and nobody even knew the difference or noticed the difference.
I think the pumps have to look the direction it comes from. Then Butler gives us water, the flow is different than, say, down here, pump up to it.
Correct. Combination with now we control by valves. So, and this is just coming back to you now, pressure is controlled by valves versus pump station. So, whatever the PSI is, it can be lessened or increased by valves, and that's why we can increase it where it's lacking and decrease it where it's too much. I can only assume, layman's guess is that it's because the source is much closer.
There's also multiple.
There's always a pump station.
It comes from different directions.
Well, it comes from the two main streets and the park is the main. So you'll be feeding different parts of town.
In years past, if we had a serious fire, we used to have to call one, they used to have to go and adjust everything to make sure we had enough water going in certain directions. But they have done.
I do know that we do have some residents like up on Highland that
Very weak pressure.
that
That will be
was
resolved.
one of the...
That will be resolved. Yeah. Again, email's probably too complicated to explain it. I'd ask you next time you see Paul, just ask that question. We'll give a very technical answer. And, we're doing a lot of, we had to hire a special engineer outside of Paul to do these hydrological studies, flow studies. It's going to be a good day when this occurs. Okay, any further discussion? I need a roll call, please.
Councilmembers Della Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Yasti.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Item F, Resolution 2014-1.82. This is simply authorizing an agreement, which we've had for many, many years, between the Township of West Milford and us, Bloomingdale, for our registrar services. We employ Pam Estevez, who actually stays in West Milford, performs the services for them. This is a renewal on that, same term, same fee, who makes that motion?
Second.
Any further discussion?
It's not Terry. I thought Terry was.
Terry's our registrar here in Bloomingdale, and we lend Pam. When Pam retired from the borough, it made economic sense to keep her on for the minimum allowed she can make, keep her there. Roll call.
Councilmembers Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Yasti.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato. Della Ripa.
Yes. G, adoption of resolution from tax office 14-1.83 through 14-1.89, tax title lien redemptions that you're all familiar with. Who makes that motion? Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Sondemire.
Yes.
Yasti.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Della Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Item H, I received a resignation from Ed Simone, who's our planning board representative to the Rose Fund Commission due to work commitments. Totally understandable. I thank Ed for his years of service, and I need a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Again, other than thanking Ed. All in favor? And now I need a motion to make an appointment of Robert Lippy, again, who serves on the planning board, therefore our planning board rep to the Rose Fund for a 3-year unexpired term expiring 12/31/16. I thank Bob for stepping up and serving in that capacity. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. J, I need a motion to approve a meeting date of February 18th to have our first, probably first of a few, to advise the Rafkin Road Phase 2 residents of the assessment project. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? It'll be the same format we did last time. The engineer will be here with spreadsheets showing the cost of the total project assessment piece, just like he did last time. And again, this time we have the first round of bids to show how much less the bids were than his estimates, which were
Even the estimates
40%
were
less.
lower. The estimates were lower than what you
Yeah.
get it on your own.
Right.
And then the bids came in even lower than
Correct,
that.
correct. And you know, we put out the bid, I mean, it would be nice if the same contractor received the low bidder, then you can do the whole thing in one shot. And even if there's two, it doesn't matter, you can still do the whole thing in one shot. 2 separate contractors. 7 here. All in favor?
Aye.
Now I need a motion to appoint Kristen Peterson, who is a registered nurse at, I believe, Hackensack Hospital, will be a great asset on our Board of Health for a 3-year unexpired term, expiring 12/31/14, filling a vacancy. Who makes the motion for Kristen?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Other than thanking Kristen again for willing to serve. I didn't know, I know we spoke with Kristen and she has a meeting schedule and she's moved forward. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item L, we've already dealt with. 12, I need a motion to open late public comment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no one, I need a motion to close late public.
So moved.
Second.
No, we do need one. Yeah. We will have an executive session. There will be no action taken after it. Everybody schedule, work session.
That's another agenda item.
I'm sorry? Thank you very much. That was huge. Do the 1 agenda item. I need a motion. Resolution 2014 1.90. This is authorizing Glenwell Lake Association and the Thai residents, 97 South Road, that everybody agrees and supports their installation of a treatment works approval application, which is actually needed from us so they can move in their home. And who makes that motion?
Subject to
Obviously, subject to
health board.
we have nothing to do with that. Yep.
Yep. So moved.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, so Jane, you'll be in tomorrow morning for that if you want. All right, thank you. Again, our governing body schedule, work session February 4th, 7 p.m. Regular meeting and our RAFCA 2 presentation February 18th. I need a motion to go into executive.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Before I ask for a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Councilwoman Hudson, yes, you had a question?
It wasn't a question, it was just a comment. Over the weekend, we went to a restaurant in Ramsey, and they had a map there. And it didn't look like a map, but it was a map of the town with
Cartoony?
kind of cartoony map, but not cartoony. It was
Right.
tastefully
On the
done,
shore,
it was lovely. And it had all the different restaurants and all that, and the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized that if we did something similar to that, with the approach of shop local, I think that our local businesses would really appreciate something like that if we could do it in conjunction with Butler and Kinlawn, because there's things that Kinlawn has that we don't have, and things that we have that Kinlawn doesn't have, and I think that might be something that we should look into.
I think it's a great idea. All the shore communities have it, but if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of all those maps, it is done by the Chamber of Commerce, 99% of the time. And I'm all for it, but it's a matter of who's going to do it. Because it's a real cumbersome job. If you're marketing the businesses, they're paying an ad to help you pay for the map. Jane received a great calendar from Franklin Lakes, who has a photo contest. Residents submit photos for every month. The winner of December gets the December photo on the calendar, and a business on the bottom market ultimately pays for it. Done by, again, Franklin Lakes, probably in staff that they have, their office, administrative office, ours being 4, is like 14, so it's always a matter of who can do it. But if you notice, because I like those maps, I see Wildwood has them, Old Jersey Shores have them,
and it was nice size. I mean, it had to have been this
and if
big.
you flip it, it continues the town usually, I'd ask Jane to try to bring it to Chamber to see if there's interest. All you can do is ask. And then we know whether there's interest or not. If there's not, then we got to find another avenue. Because Chamber's Triborough. So it would cover Triborough town, to your point. It's just a matter of who.
Let me just give you one little bit of history. Years and years and years ago, we tried it, and they got this company they hired, council actually. They hired a company that went out and got ads from local businesses.
Well, that company just vanished. So,
That's why there's big old little skittish, but I will bring it forward again.
and it comes down to finances too. If we were in a situation where we could budget X, just hire a company, revenue company, just do soup to nuts, those are great things. All time into future plans we have, as you bring that kind of revenue, make life easier on those kind of things that are important. But
I think it would be nice that, when a business comes to Bloomingdale, we can say, all of our businesses, because this was framed, it was up on a wall, it was
But
beautiful.
they're probably also folded in in their borough hall, in all the restaurants for residents who just grab it wherever they are. And I mean, have everyone seen those down the shore? The kind of thing where I say cartoony, because it's the fish in a lake, and it's a great idea. It's just a matter of who's going to take the lead and not to well, maintain it, true. But again, not to, how do I say this, there's no way Jane and Terry can handle a project. Because it's not a handle. Your cost would be substantial.
I'm sorry?
Come as a speaker at a chamber meeting and present the idea. Because they should be the ones wholeheartedly supporting it, because it's only their businesses who's going to affect it.
Jerry Vinci is present, he knows as well.
And Jerry Vinci's a printer too, so he may have connections with doing something. It's a great idea. It just has to be done by a third party, either chamber or something we can finance and fund, which I will do. Same thing as a calendar. I'd love for every resident to get a calendar, and that calendar has every recycling day, every planning board meeting, every council meeting, on one calendar, every resident gets it. Paid for by businesses and advertisements. But again, it worked. Put that together. It's volumes and volumes. You have to find that. Yeah. Franklin Lakes probably subbed it out. Probably budgets for 15 grand for calendar. You never know. You also, we can reach out to some of our larger businesses for contributions too, possibly help. But someone has to spearhead it, and I just think my plate, your plate, Jerry's plate is just too full to even think about such. Although I support it 100%. And I don't think it's so much for the county council members or a volunteer basis. Except chambers should go to the event. So we'll see. I like it a lot. Write it on, have Bella write it on my dry erase.
Okay.
That's not that one. She swears that you will never know it's her.
Anyone else today? Guys, thanks for coming out in the weather. Need a motion to adjourn at 7:50?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.